process people register.
It's already registered.
Okay.
We got an approval from IC, and then we were told our registration was going to be sent. While we've been waiting, we didn't know what happened.
Okay.
My personal opinion is, I think everyone's registration was held because they already knew they were going to raise it to 2 million. This was deliberate. It was not something that just happened overnight. You just don't get up and make a decision like that. It was $1 million, then all of a sudden everything stopped. We never heard back, and now it's 2 million. But the reality is Gambians are exhausted, we're tired. Even if he made it $10 million, we will still find a way to raise money to run.
All right. So, lan nga ñu mëna wax ci Golden Era Party?
Golden Era Party was born from mere frustration. When I came 4 years ago, and so did Sheku, things are completely different. There's no price control. Every day you go to the market, things are 10 to 15% more than you paid for it. There's no logic and no rhyme of reason. Things don't make sense. And people we care about were being affected. We could have easily come from the States and be part of the 5% and not worry about how things affect everybody. But you cannot live the way we live and then see how it affects your driver, your maid, your cook, your family members. So him and I were friends. We met through his wife and through conversations about my frustrations, about the bureaucracies here, no hospitals. When you take family members to hospitals, there's no medication. I've had a family member had his leg amputated at the hospital in Banjul, and I had to buy the bag for his leg to be discarded. So Golden Era Party was born from us wanting better for Gambia. And we feel like we have a proven track record and we can do a better job.
Okay, so ci loolu noonu gis nañ la itam liggéey bi nga xam ne yaa ngi koy def nan nga prepare pour war a dugg ci politique ndax yow yaay because gis nañ like something like ne running mate.
Yes.
Sheku
is the president.
Okay.
And I am his running mate. I am the vice president.
Okay.
So we both decided to work together because we only have 14 months left. And it makes more sense if you have two people effectively trying to do it. So if we have campaigns, we can divide our time. One person is up in the provinces, one person is here. And we are able to collect our resources because running a campaign is very, very expensive. And we are self-funded. So it makes sense to have two people run than one person. And the other reason why we did it is usually most parties in Africa, especially Gambia, is just one person. It's always one person heading the party. So what happens if there's a discrepancy or if that person dies? Usually it means the party dies. But if it's two people and you join in your resources and you join in your mind powers, you're more effective. And I feel like we've been more effective with the two of us working together as to have him work by himself.
Okay, so chance, they wouldn't read chances. I'm getting chance for 2026.
I think everyone has a chance.
Okay.
I think everyone will be effective. Anyone who runs has a platform to run on. The running regime we have is based on corruption, inconsistency, and people don't feel safe. And the average Gambian is looking for an alternative. And we are not saying we have all the answers, but we are saying we have the mindset, we have the educational background, and we have work experience. Because Sheku and I independently owned businesses in the United States. We ran successful businesses. We were both able to retire and move back to Gambia. So there are things we bring from that experience into the Gambian market that Gambians have not been exposed to before. So I think we are very unique in that sense.
Okay. So, legi biru coalition, how many bari ñu wax pour génne fi President Barrow.
It's going to take a coalition, definitely.
Ndax yeen Golden Era Party.
We're
na pour wala yeen sen
definitely
bop di ngeen initiate comme pour lool mo mëna am because right now ba legi dégguñ ñu déclarer né amna coalition bu am ak yoy bu féké sax
parce que dafa teel.
Okay.
Dafa teel. Right now people need to create their their own platform. They need to build their own platform. It is too early, but I think eventually we will create a coalition because we know it's going to take a coalition to win. That's one. Two, most other candidates that are running don't have a platform. We don't know what their platform is based on. So how can you create a coalition when you don't know what your platform is? We have a platform, it's on our website, but 90% of the other ones that are running there don't have a website. So how can I join your party when I don't know what you're running for?
Okay. Su lu jëm tamit seen programmes xëy na di ñu wax ne golden era su ñëwee lii ak lii ak lii ak mooy programme am su ko defee wala loolu yéen a ngi ciy liggéey pare good.
Did def nañ ko ba pare. It's on the website. It's www.goldeneraparty.com.
Okay. So
it has its platform already. And one of the biggest things we've talked about today is agriculture. Because there's a huge food scarcity in Gambia. And we don't feel like farmers have enough support. For example, the borehole I mentioned. How can farmers farm where they don't have water? We went to Sukuta. Only half of the Sukuta farm has water. The other half stays dry because they have no well and no way of watering their plants. So we need a systematic way that the government can be involved to help engineer farming. Because if we do that, we eradicate farming by 30%, we eradicate hunger by 30%. So farming is where it's at. So we already have our plans for year 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if you go on the website, it shows you the systematic platforms that have been built. And when we're talking about farming, we're not saying you use a hoe on water. We're saying there are innovations, there are incentives, and there are things that you can do to farm year-round so we can get rid of food scarcity. And in turn, instead of importing 75% of what we eat in Gambia, why don't we grow 75% here and then import the other 25? So the first year is to change our food scarcity and reduce food. Because the prices of food has gone up 24% in the last 10 years. In 2016, it was only, I think, 8%, but now inflation has gone up 24% in food, and the income has remained the same. So if the average Gambian is earning $5,000 a month, and they're paying $3,400 for rice, every month they're living in a deficit. And the only way we can eradicate that is to build our own food, is to grow our own food and help our farmers build the farms.
All right. Chimbiru, like, so already nominate a requirements in IC dina ko laaj bokk na ci because suma jumut yow US citizen.
That's the first thing we did. We have our lawyer Baru Kante. We both turned in our American citizenships, and we're going through the process of becoming Gambians.
Yéen ci loolu wala def ngeen ko already?
We're ñu ci loolu.
Yéen ci process.
Yes, it takes about 6 to 9 months, we were told.
But what nuñ ko waree denounce citizenship, American citizenship fi nga xam ne foofu la ñëpp bëgg a dem. Pour war a ñëw.
Waaw ñu fa dëkk bëgguñ ñu fa di. White people don't want us there, and we want to come home. One thing that people have, they have misconceptions about America. So, liggéey foofu be jeexale looy dëkkee foofu dara daahut Africa fii moo gën a ne fii moo gën a am jaama. If you've already found money there, why are you living there? When you can live here, implement what you've learned, and grow and learn with your people. I think there are a lot of people in the diaspora that want to come back. And we need to create that so they can bring the knowledge back to Gambia.
Parties you figures among all the political parties, maybe let's say the biggest political parties or some of the biggest political parties in your DOI, PDOIS, UDP, NRP, tay golden era ñoo xamne maybe yéen ngi discuss ne su leen doon dem bay def coalition xeyna ñi di ngeen leen approach waxtaan ak ñoom ak among these political parties ndax amna ñoo xamne yi leen di xoolaat maybe from a distance pour jéema liggéey ak ñoom wala approach leen pour waxtaan ak ñoom.
I'm in conversations, but we're not convinced. We're not joining anyone yet. We need to see everyone's platform. We need to be aligned because the core values that we have, the things that we need to change. The basic infrastructure of everything needs to change. We need to start over. Gambia is in debt. And if we don't figure out how to change the way we think and figure out how we do business, dinañ lekk suuf. So the next 5 years is not an option. And we will work with anybody except the existing government. Because they've had 10 years and nothing's changed. So NPP is a no.
Okay. Naka 2026 election cycle. Ndax golden era daf ci bokk su ma waxee 2026 election cycle waxuma rek presidential election but the National Assembly election si la bokk and also local government election yi itam si la bokk muy mayor and council so ndax yooyu yëpp yéen a ngi koy wala yéen da ngeen bëgg a focus agum ci 2026
I think focusing on the 2026 election makes sense because everything starts from the top. Corruption is at the top. So that's what needs to be fixed. If you lead by example and you hold everybody else accountable, and if people know that there are consequences for the things that are happening in the government, it will stop. The reason why there has been gross corruption is because there are no consequences. So we feel like we need to start at the top because the top is where the issue is.
Okay, all right. Mr. Bojang nooy jàngatee gis comme